Good morning, team. Captain Gonzalez. I'm showing this slide for my email, my phone number if you guys need it. All right. Gonzalez with an S dot 206 at osu.edu. That's the best way to reach me. Um, I guess you guys sometimes email me from Carmen, and I do respond to that. I'm just a lot faster when it goes direct to my email, so prefer that. And like I said, my phone number if you also need. I guess you can say that's my office number as well. All right, so today's class is op order review. Like I said, this is only for the Monday, Wednesday class, the Scarlet class. The gray class is already complete. So like I said, if you are in the Tuesday, Thursday class, you can. The only admin note I really have for you guys, based on the guidance that was pushed out via email from the XO, Captain Souter, is make sure you guys are staying in contact, communication with your CMATs, and you guys are also doing PT 3 days a week. All right. At some point, I might publish some guidance as far as the schedule is, like a workout schedule, but just make sure you guys are still getting after it. We're still in the Army. You still got to stay in shape. I also kind of just recommend you guys get out of the house anyway, with all this stuff going on, get some fresh air. All right, so again, today's class, op order, was designed to set you guys up for success for your MS3 year. When you guys get there, you guys will know how to brief, know what right looks like, and be able to flip an op order. Fortunately, we're not going to be able to flip op orders, so it's just kind of a quick overview. If you guys were in my class last year or semester, this is going to be a repeat class. So it's going to be kind of a little boring. This class was designed for the new guys, like the AKs, maybe like the Sergeant Johnson, even though she's experienced. Something a little different, op orders. I'm just going to click through my attendance real quick. Maybe good for Locke. This is a good class for Rodrigo, like I said, and Newald. Everybody else already took this class and did an assignment on it as far as your final from last year when we did op orders for military ball and for the FTX. All right, here's what I was going to assign. PLs, like I said, it was going to be Edmondson and Cabrera. Lucky for them, they don't have to flip op orders, all right? All right, so like I said, today's learning objective is to be able to understand what an op order is. So under Carmen, I did post, let me go confirm, under my modules. My op order review class, I published this op order and the op order I wanted everybody to flip. All right, so I'll go ahead and open this thing so you guys can see it. All right, so this is a company order, and I want you guys to flip it into a platoon. You guys are second platoon, so just know, as I'm going through class, I'll reference this a lot, okay? All right, so here's what an op order is. It consists of 5 paragraphs. Situation, mission, execution, sustainment, command, and signal. So this slide right here, slide number 5. Actually, I think it's slide number 4 for you guys, ones I posted. This is going to be your bread and butter. I would almost print this thing out, put it in your notebook. It's pretty important, like I said. The one I have highlighted red, the mission and execution, those probably the most important ones of the paragraph. Mission, most important. It's the 5 W's, but it's quick and easy. Execution is very a lot of detail. All right. So the whole point of op orders is to push out to your soldiers. Like I said, as officers, we're the planners. The NCOs are the executors. So is your job as an officer is to create a 5-paragraph op order that details a mission. And like I said, this slide, I could talk the entire class just using this slide right here, but I'm going to just go throughout the rest of the slide deck because it goes in a lot of detail as far as what each of them kind of mean, why they're important. All right. Just make sure when you guys are doing op orders, like I said, you have some visuals, some overlays, some concept sketch. Like I said, we did a COA sketch in class, some terrain models. I showed you guys some really good ones in class as well. And then whatever annexes that you guys need that you think would explain in detail. All right, so every op order has a number, like a code name, and it's just like admin stuff as far as like references. It could be referencing brigade op orders. It could be division. It could be TMs, manuals, training guidance. Basically, how or where did this information come from? Why are we publishing this order? All right, time zones could be local, Zulu, task org. It's typically the S1 who explains where you're at as far as your MTOs involved. But you guys should already know like your basic design of your task org. So it could be your platoon, who's in your platoon, and who your company commander is, so on and so forth. And like I said, once you guys start getting pretty detailed as far as using terrain model kits, make sure you guys orient yourself to the map. Most important thing. All right, paragraph 1, situation. Talk about the area of interest and the area of operations, why it's important. Say, hey, we're operating out of Fort Knox, Kentucky. Talk about the weather, why that's important. You want to say, hey, next week it could snow. Obviously, especially during lab time, it'll explain why the weather is important or not. You definitely want to know because that's going to dictate, the type of uniform you're going to wear, whether it's, cold weather gear or not, whether you're going to need to downgrade, stuff like that. All right, civil considerations, like I said, use A-scope, pretty good. Enemy forces, talking about, enemy has a vote, and explain why they're important or what the intel, the S2 section is basically trying to tell you as far as who you're going up against. All right, you want to know what their size is. All right, so we're talking about composition, disposition, and strength. That's basically what I just got done talking about. All right. So talk about most probable course of action, most dangerous course of action. Why you want to understand this is because you're going to want to plan for both, contingency plans. The most likely, so that way you can plan for it, and then obviously you don't want the enemy to do the most dangerous. But it's planning purposes. So for your situation, just know you want to get an understanding of what the enemy is doing. Friendly forces, your higher headquarters mission, like I said, 2 levels up. So if you're a platoon, you're going to want to know what the company and battalion headquarters is. Your adjacent units to your left and your right could be your platoon battle buddies. Like I said, why that's important is because where they're at on the battlefield. All right, you don't want to make sure you don't have a fratricide. Attachments, detachments could be anybody as far as it could be like interpreters that are attached to you guys. When I gave the class on joint operations, it could be Air Force. It could be a lot of different people. This is definitely interesting teaching a class, like talking to myself, not having an audience, a little different as an instructor versus facilitating. All right, mission. Like I said, probably the most important one, 5 W's. Everybody knows what the 5 W's are. Just know when you're done briefing your mission, you're going to say it twice. You're going to say, I say again. All right? All right, execution. Got to make sure after the mission statement, you got to know what your commander's intent is. They talk about the purpose with key tasks and end state. If you guys want some more practice on op orders, just let me know. I could drop a lot more in the box. Like I said, last year we used the joint FTX. It could be the purpose is to train all cadets on land nav, and then the key task could say for conducting land nav would be making sure we validated all the points, and then the end state is making sure it's done in a safe manner. All right, here's some example key tasks. Like I said, I don't want to read directly off the slide. You guys can read that. Also don't want to cruise through these. Like I said, if you're watching the video, give you a little bit of opportunity to read through them. But also this PowerPoint is on Carmen, so you can pause these if you need to. Like I said, if I'm going too fast, or just reference the slide deck that I have posted on Carmen. All right, concept of the operation. Think of big picture. All right, this is how I explain it in class. Concept of the operation is typically done in phases, and it's kind of like a brief overview. So it could say phase 1 is the planning phase. We are currently in phase 1. Phase 2 is movement phase. So we're hopping in the buses and we're driving down to Fort Knox. Phase 3 is the execution phase. So we are conducting training. And then phase 4 could be reconsolidation AAR. Phase 5 will be movement back to Converse Hall. And phase 6 is the end of the operation. So just you got to know how to break it up and explain it in detail. So when you talk about phases, you want to talk about who is decisive and why it's important. So when I say the who, could be like a specific platoon. Like I said, I know this is a lot of information. Like I said, I know 90% of you guys understand this. It's more so to set you guys up for success for next year, because I know previous years, I mean, you guys are already ahead of your peers right now. Just getting this class, all right? Here's an example. Concept of the operation. Like I said, it's just a brief overview, big picture. Another example, like I said, I'm not going to read this. You can pause it if I'm going too fast. All right, scheme of movement and maneuver. This is going over the details. This is where, as soon as you brief big picture, now you're bringing everybody to your terrain model kit. You're saying, all right, scheme, movement, maneuver, and you go by name. So in your by name, you're going to talk specifically what each squad is doing, and squad leaders by name, talking about EPW teams, aid and litters, stuff like that, actions on. All right. So this is getting into the details. How you guys are going to move when you guys are walking to an objective. Which method of traveling Overwatch, bounding Overwatch, once you guys cross LDAs, how you're going to do that specifically. This is to clear up any confusion as far as when you guys are executing the mission. Here's a lot of different things that you could talk about when you're in the scheme, movement, maneuver. Like I said, they have casualty collection points, where they at on the battlefield. And then right here they say not to go into detail for SOPs. Reason being is because once your op order is complete, you guys will conduct rehearsals, and that's when you guys could go over your SOPs. All right, here's an example for you guys to look at. All right, last, the scheme of fires. Exactly, what is the priority Do you have fires? If not, who has them and what the task and purpose is. All right, tasks, maneuver units. So here's where, when you're flipping an op order, even though the company mission that will then fall under your situation, you will pull your mission out of this. So, like I said, you guys were second squad or second platoon. You guys will be the main effort. I'm just going to go ahead and refer back to that. All right, so here's the example I posted. Buckeye Company attacks Objective Wolf in the vicinity of grid location no later than daytime group in order to destroy enemy forces. All right, so when you're flipping an op order, this now goes in your situation. Then when you come down here, find your tasks to subordinate units. Decisive op, second platoon conducts an attack. In order to destroy enemy forces, conduct area defense and hold the objective from QRF. So this is now your mission statement. So you basically highlight this, pull this out of the op order from your higher headquarters, and this is now your mission statement. When you're breaking it up, see, this is talking about what your battle buddies are doing to your left and your right. Right here, when you do task supporting units, you're going to tell what your squads are doing. Yep, just want to make sure I was recording it in the right slide. All right, coordinating instructions. This is talking about a lot of the details, like PIR, priority intelligence reports. So talking about loss of a sensitive item, what you need to report to higher. Blue cards, how people are getting evaluated if people failed. Land nav, loss of a sensitive item. Also, it kind of goes over detail. Like, it could even talk about specifically what the uniform is. So when we talk about coordinating instructions, it could be a packing list, okay? Rules of engagement. Talk about different routes. Stuff like this. All right, paragraph 4, sustainment. This is my bread and butter right here, is a logistician. Like I said, we talk about the different classes of supply. We want to talk about where the talk about medical as well. So we're talking about casualty collection points, the helicopter landing zones, where different the higher headquarters is located in reference to how I'm going to refit the fight. All right, as far as class 1, you're going to eat. A lot of people get confused with the MMA. Basically, what the mic is for class 1 is MREs. When it's talking about hot A's, it's just a hot meal from either the DFAC, could be mermites, or typically, like in lab, we'll say Mike Alpha Alpha because you're going to go home for lunch and dinner. So it might not necessarily be provided, but you just know that's what the ration cycle is for that day. Not all classes of supply are here. Like, say, you can Google them. Class 2, that would be like your pens and paper, all that stuff that you would get from Mr. Weehee. Class 3 is PLL products, which is like fuel. You as a cadet don't have to worry about this, but when you get to your units, you would need to know, how much fuel you have in your Humvees, or different lubricants you're going to need to put in like your tank, for instance. All right, class 4, that's typically your construction materials. A lot of engineers use all that stuff, so Captain Lanahan's pretty good with that. Class 5 is your 5.56, your ammunition rounds. Class 6 is personal end items. So it could be like personal hygiene stuff. Class 7 is like a major end item is something huge or something that's on your property book, like a vehicle. Class 8 is medical. And then 9 is your maintenance. So whenever something breaks, you order class 9 parts. It could be like transmission or a starter or something like that. All right, so like I said, we're talking about different ways of marking for aid and litter, EPWs, and then where is your medevac plan? Where exactly is everything at? All right, here's that slide I was telling you about. Like I said, all classes supply. It was basically a practical exercise for you guys to work on. I thought it was a good slide. Like I said, you don't have to memorize these. I do as a logistician, but I would definitely write them in your notebook. Know what they are, why they're important. All right, last paragraph, command and signal. Talk about where the leader is located on the battlefield in succession of command. So if I like assigned Edmondson or like said Cabrera in charge as the PL, if they go down, who's next in the fight? Who's the platoon sergeant? Who's the squad leader? Who's stepping up to the plate? And when we talk about signal, we're talking about PACE plan. So PACE, primary, alternate, contingency, emergency. And talk about all these different things. They're like code words, challenge and password. Like I said, when you guys are in lab, you guys utilize this quite often. But command and signal is just knowing, like, it's typically your S6, which is talking about mission command. Where is the leader at on the battlefield? And when we talk about SOI, I'm talking about like radio frequencies. What is the radio frequency that we're on, and what is higher headquarters? All right. So obviously very important. Like I said, I just kind of cruise through this. What I noticed, I don't think I attached that I am going to attach for you guys is the student reading. All right. So when you're done with the 5th paragraph, you're going to do back briefs to confirm that everybody's paying attention. They wrote it down. And then we're talking about different hard times, like, hey, I want a back brief at this time. Or, hey, in an hour, we're going to do some rehearsals, and then we're going to step off. Here's some things that aren't really covered too much, but I think it's kind of important for you guys to know. Specified task is something that's given to you or told. And then there's implied task, which is not told, but it's important because you're going to have to know. So like a specified task could say, hey, pass a PT test. An implied task is, well, you're going to have to work out to improve your run time if you're struggling in that. So it's something that's not given, but something that it's kind of like a common sense thing. And then mission essential task. This one, like I said, it's something that you're going to be able to have to do. That's basically combine the two. All right, another thing you'll see often in op orders is a decisive operation or main effort, same thing. And then you could have shaping operation or sustaining operation, basically the supporting element. So in the op order, 2nd platoon is a decisive operation. 1st and 3rd platoon are shaping operations. So basically, the best way to explain this is the decisive operation could be the attack element or the assaulting element, and the shaping or supporting operation could be the support by fire. So you need the support by fire in order to assault through the objective. Just know that, like I said, the decisive is what you need to accomplish the mission. I utilize this as kind of like some planning factors when you guys are doing missions. So like I said, an attack, a lot of people say 3-1, but it depends whether, like I said, it's prepared or a hasty attack. And then this is one of my favorite slides. Like I said, you guys probably seen this before. It talks about the troop leading procedures and exactly where you fall. So I think it's good when we talk about an op order class, because if I give you the op order, you receive the mission, now it's your job to issue the warno, which is basically the mission statement. So get it down to your guys so that way they know and they're not blindsided by what the mission is while you guys have time to actual plan. And then you're making a tentative plan using all the ACE scope, all the 1/3, 2/3. Like I said, just give your guys the opportunity to plan while you're coming. So your RTO is going to help you with your platoon sergeant make a tentative plan. When you initiate movement, it could be PCC, PCIs. Conducting a recon, it could be a map recon. You don't necessarily have to get eyes on. And then when you complete the plan, is basically you finalizing everything or sending out an op order, and then you issue it. So basically bringing everybody around your terrain model kit and issuing it out. And then supervise and refine is the back briefs that we talked about. So like I said, just know troop leading procedures, very important, and it talks about op order process in it. All right, like I said, we're not doing the practical exercise, but you guys do have a journal assignment with this class. So talk about what you learned, why it's important. Like I said, I kind of cruise through it because it's a lot of information. I think once you guys get more and opportunities to flip, it'll make a lot more sense. But like I said, hopefully it wasn't too boring. Like I said, half of you guys already got this class. This was a quick overview, so you guys can do the practical exercise. It's kind of unfortunate that we had to stop that due to online only. But like I said, this is for the new guys to kind of give them a quick introduction of what you guys did for your final project to get everybody up to speed. So like I said, definitely when you guys are MS3s, come talk to me if you guys need some help flipping op orders or whatever. It's something that I did a lot when I was a cadet. So don't forget the journal assignments. Don't forget to work out. All right, have a good day, guys.